Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodi. I'd like to welcome you guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the Mighty Avengers. This is a pretty awesome series. Had some pretty interesting story arcs. This first story arc, we have the Mighty Avengers going up against Ultron, a very different incarnation of Ultron. I have to commend Brian Michael Bendis, who wrote this story. He's thinking outside the box and referring to what a writer can do with this villain. It's pretty disturbing, at least for me. It seems like Ultron's pretty effed up in the head in this particular arc. Fantastic art by Frank Cho. So, before I spoil the hell of it, it's worth the read. I think it has 6 issues long. Came out, I don't remember if I mentioned, way back in 2007. I think with 1 issue off, like with 5 issues, this would have worked much better. One thing in this story that just doesn't work for me, what happens with one specific character. But outside of that, I'm going to give you guys like a brief overview of what I liked and what I didn't like about it. So, the Mighty Avengers, this takes place after, I think, the Civil War. We have the superhero registration. This is like the official Avengers lineup, while on the other side, we had the new Avengers. They're like the underground team. So, Tony Stark is the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. Here we have him choosing from the registered heroes, which options he has to build up a team. While we're going through the selection of the team, we have Mole Man, or actually Mole Man's subterranean creatures attacking New York City. They're all freaked out. We get to see the lineup. We have Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel nowadays, Black Widow, Sentry. Already with these first couple of characters, they're really freaking heavy hitters. Iron Man, obviously, is the leader of the team. Wonder Man, basically one of the most powerful lineups of the Avengers ever. Wasp is also on the team. Ares is a very interesting addition to this particular lineup. I sort of like the idea that when Tony Stark, when talking to Carol Danvers about who's going to fill in for Thor, they sort of mentioned that Ares is like a weird mix between Thor and a Wolverine on the team. So the dude's a god. He's willing to get his hands dirty. He's an insane. Obviously, he's a really good fighter. So this first issue just really shows off each member of the team, how they're useful on these type of missions, like all these subterranean creatures attacking New York City, really showing off that all these guys are extremely powerful. Even Black Widow, who doesn't have any powers, she's a force to be reckoned with. I love that as the story progresses, because that was one of the really good things about Bendis, is like how he writes dialogue between characters and the relationships between them. That Ares is really impressed by Black Widow all the time. He's like, hey, that he's like sort of falling in love with her. At the end of issue number 1, we discover the one responsible for all these subterranean creatures freaking out. It's Ultron, but this is a very different Ultron. Ultron hacks into Tony Stark's technology, hacks his armor, and his armor is integrated to his own biology. So he actually morphs Tony Stark, Iron Man, into Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, and she's naked. And it's really weird because Wasp obviously is Hank Pym's ex-wife. We have Ultron really messing with the Avengers' heads, all types of destruction, looking like Wasp, a butt-naked Wasp. Discovered in this story also is somehow Ultron has hijacked Tony Stark's technology. There's a group like the satellite technology used to control weather. Basically, Ultron's creating havoc across the whole globe. Everything's just going to shit. And this is like one interesting thing is that Tony Stark gets his technology hacked here, and then again during the Skrull invasions, like one would think that there would be like firewalls, and Tony Stark would have learned from this situation with Ultron that technology totally hacked in the next really big story crossover immediately after. And then again during Axis, when on Red Onslaught, it would be, takes control of his mind. It's like, again, he gets mind controlled. It already happened during the crossing with Kang, but okay, ranting. So the Avengers have to deal with naked Wasp Ultron, and he's basically owning each one of the Avengers. Like, this incarnation of Ultron is extremely powerful. He's giving all these heavy hitters a real hard time. And Ultron realizes that Sentry is like the one that's going to be a sort of an issue for him. We have Ares, where basically Ultron, with no effort, just humiliates him. And it's really epic battle between Ultron and Sentry. And what happens is, at one moment, Ultron is like, okay, I can't physically defeat you. So basically, he drops the helicarrier on Sentry just to distract him. And then he goes and kills Sentry's wife. So that's a pretty messed up thing, too. To Hank Pym and Tigra, who seem to have a relationship or something like that. I'm not sure that during this time where Hank Pym is already Skrull Hank Pym. And I would have to check up on that. But right around this time, he was kidnapped by Skrulls. What's really well written during the story is that you feel like Ultron is really playing for keeps. You feel like the stakes are really high. It really feels like the end of the world when and stop the whole satellites controlling the weather thing. Ultron uses an EMP, blacks out most of the planet. Like, he has a plan A, B, C, D. Like, he's prepared for everything in this particular story. And he really pushes Sentry to the edge. Like, at one moment of the story, I thought like the Void was going to come back or make his appearance in the story. Here's where Ultron kills Sentry's wife, but we didn't get that. Like, they sort of teased it, because you always know that Sentry is sort of like a ticking time bomb. Part, like, there's like the both parts that I don't like about the stories are actually with Ares, who's a totally kick-ass character. One, he's like using this Iron Man drone and flying on top of it, using his sword to control the direction it's going. For some reason, that doesn't work for me. It looks totally awesome, but like when I reread this today, it felt sort of weird. And another part is, obviously, they tried to insert a virus within Ultron, and they shrink Ares down to get inside of Ultron. And that part didn't work for me either. They don't use a virus. What they do is they use obsolete technology from Commodore 64, which I used to have when I was a kid. My dad bought one, I remember. And that's how they defeat Ultron. But after this story, Ultron actually shoots his mind into outer space, and he's going to join forces with the Phalanx, and we're going to have that it's a pretty good crossover, cosmic crossover. Ultron almost takes over the universe and then wants to use Adam Warlock as a host body. So I'm going to leave this video here. Mighty Avengers, it was a pretty awesome series. This first story arc is pretty good, even though I didn't like the Ares flying on Iron Man and shrinking down thing. That's a personal thing for me. But outside of this is a pretty good story. I'm going to keep it within my collection. So hope you guys like this video. See you guys next time. Bye.